This is a short presentation from the EIT and IDC Technologies Practical Essentials series. My name is Greg Bell, and I'm going to show you organizing models in Excel. Now, the word models is a little bit intimidating. Most spreadsheets that do any sort of calculation you could call a model. So that's the word I'm using for it. Now, let's say we're going to create a spreadsheet that takes 3 resistances and a voltage and calculates what the current is going to be through that circuit. You might put something like this together if you find yourself having to do this calculation repeatedly and you figure you might be able to automate it a little bit. What I'm going to recommend is that the way you organize this spreadsheet is in 3 sections. Input, calculations, and output, or intermediate values in the middle here. So our inputs are going to look like resistor 1, resistor 2, resistor 3, and the voltage, right? So here we would put our values 5 ohms, 6 ohms, and 10 ohms, and 200 volts. If you want to be really organized, you can put a column stating what the units are. That's always a good idea. And actually properly it's lowercase. Now our calculations are going to be the R total. That's our intermediate calculation. So we'll do that right here. That's just a sum of the resistances above here. So I'll just use the sum formula. And my output is the current. So that's going to be the current. And what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to take this voltage and I'm going to divide it by this total resistance, right? And that's in amps. So again, input, calculations, and output. Now the benefit of doing it this way is that it's very organized. When you come back to it in a few months, you'll be able to tell what you were doing, what you were on about. And more importantly, you can tell the users of your spreadsheet, of your model, how to use it with some cues. So, for example, I'm going to background color all those, and then I'm going to draw some borders in them, all borders. And then I'm going to do something sort of, you may not have seen, I want to turn off the grid lines. So there I've got, in blue are the numbers that the user is supposed to touch. The rest of them, they're not supposed to touch. Now there are other ways in Excel to enforce that. You can lock certain cells. But this is a visual way of telling the user what they're allowed to edit and what they shouldn't. So your calculations are a no-go zone, of course, because you've worked those out. You don't want the user messing with those. And your output is the same. It's something that you've worked out that you don't want your user to change. So there you go. That's my recommendation for how to organize models in Excel.